180.
Hey, 99, woof, woof, 99, hey, 99, woof, woof.
And no matter what anyone says, you're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Wow, they're coming through loud tonight, coming through loud like the skip. It's dying down, but we are here on the West Coast, the Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark at channel 11, 27085, and also at oldtuberadio.net, where we are streaming audio, and somewhere there would be a link to take a look at the video thing that is going on as well, where we will be displaying some of the tube radios that are happening tonight, we hope, and following along with the shortwave listeners. And you, my name is Dennis, net control for what we call the Old Tube Radio Network, an association and voluntary association of people from all over who are interested in communicating and the classic tube radios. We have our collectors at the ready after the roll call to be sharing some radios with everyone. So let me get 00 checked in, who might be out there, might be making it through the skip. Hello, Joe, over.
We're right here, Dennis. 00 checking in.
All right, I got you checked in. I'm looking at my page for 10/1/2022. If you are playing the home game, you should be on row number 6 in our 8-week period. Thanks, Joe. We'll pause right now to see if there are any stations that do need early check-ins. We've got a couple of you online already. Any stations over the air that need an early check-in tonight? Over. Or that would maybe even be able to hear me tonight. So we'll continue on. I'm going to also check in SWL number 1, the dynamic duo here, two of the gentlemen that started this Old Tube Radio Network ever so long ago, and SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who is lurking about. Well, he's not lurking. He's out there head and shoulders on the video chat. So head on over and say hello to Mr. OBP and give him a signal report. Hint, his signal report will be that he's 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon. I do think so. We're also get a check-in for SWL number 3, and we will be looking for SWL 4. So thanks to all those who are tuning in wherever you might be, right here locally. Maybe you're listening to us over the air somewhere, but maybe not here in Central California, which is where we are at. You can hear the live stream at oldtuberadio.net, or maybe you're on the YouTube screen. I will try and get around to everybody so we can see what is going on tonight. Let's see, we skip over to SWL7.
SWL7 checking in.
All right, still a good copy. It isn't quite as wild on air as it was when I talked to you last, but you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, there you go. Good luck.
Let me go to SWL10. Dwayne and Chrissy up in Idaho. I will hang out, see where they're going to be, because sometimes they get in. Sometimes they just jump in on the DX. In fact, speaking of DX, let me see where we are on the QSO map today. Do we have a shot of that? I think it would be right here, kind of off screen. Not quite as large as it could be. So there is things happening. Let me go to the map. Okay, so there's what's going on. The lines sort of show where stations are talking, but it's most of the guys here on the West Coast heading out in the Pacific, talking to Hawaii and Australia. So that's what's going down as it's dwindling away. And then when we go over to wherever it went, the DX map. But anyway, you get the idea. The band, the gray line is closing down here, and it should be good to go. Next, we've got SWL11. That's Cornbread, who is out there somewhere.
I did hear you two in between the keys. Say again, 977, Sheriff Sapphire. Get your letter. Bye.
Yeah, 11 is in there. Also, SWL12. Dapper Dan. Get a check in. Dapper Dan, who I'm in second place again. I straightened my time. Looking pretty good. The pocket protector, we cleaned out the pocket protector. It's ready for the next two pins. And so what can I say? When you're number two, you try harder. Dapper Dan, we got you. Cornbread, we've got you. SWL 13. Mike is giving a my oh my. Yeah, Cobra, you must have been listening to the DX coming, and that is exactly my sentiments when I sit down in the air chair and my S meter's at 20 over, and I'm not even hearing any locals.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
82 would like to get an early check-in in the mobile.
Yeah, I can do that. Your mobile's sounding good. You know, you might be talking to Hawaii and Australia and not even know it. It's sounding so good. 82 in the mobile is checked in. You're sounding good. And just a reminder that Ron, the voice you will hear as soon as I unkey, is the net control for the Ditch Banks sideband net, which happens every Friday, most every Friday, beginning at 8 p.m. Pacific time on 36 lower. That's 27,365. So thanks for checking in.
All right, thank you, Dennis. And yep, in the mobile on 168 and Shields Avenue in the hole. All right, take care. Thank you.
All right, sounding good tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network. We are in the directed net roll call. Got SWL 13 in. Let's see if we can get SWL 14 if the conditions are good enough to hear Sanger tonight. Hello, Sean.
Sean's at Eagle Field. I met him out there.
Okay, good. Well, you just checked him in. Let him know he's checked in, or I'll let him know at some point. Hey, there is somebody. The break OTR. Go ahead. Let's get checked in. Over.
61. Can you hear me, Dennis?
I can hear you. You're making it through the noise. No problem. Over.
Well, if you check me in, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Have a nice show. I got shit out here that I can barely hear through.
As the famous guy once said, hello, I must be going. We've got you checked in. I will make it official by clicking on the 61, which I need to also do on the SWL 82. Speaking of checking in, let's go to the guest check-ins tonight from far-off lands and other frequencies. Good evening to the, as we say in radio, the Tango Oscar Double Delta out there in Lompoc, where I think there was, am I correct, there was some type of blast off that maybe actually happened either early this morning or sometime today. I did not stand up on the roof to see that. Also, let's see, Sacramento Dan is also out on frequency saying hello radio, so hello to you. And I'm looking to see our crew, our audio crew at 7199 also says hello, and this is from, let me see if I can get this up here. This is from John out in Oakland, who is saying hello to all those radios that glow in the dark, transmitting, look at that on the SDR. I don't know how it happens, but transmitting audio that turns into video, if you will. So thanks, John, for that. Radios that glow in the dark will be coming up after the roll call, and there should be some cool ones. I actually made an AM contact today on 40 meters. The directed net roll call. Here we go. We are heading over to SWL 16, and I thought I saw, Charlie is there. I was going to say, I thought I saw you on the on the screen, and there you were. I just have to look at the right screen. Let me get the number up where it should go, get you checked in. And I had a question. It seemed, oh, that's better. You know what it is? I think it's the screen. Everything seemed darker. I thought maybe they did something to the lighting, but now I see I have reflection coming back off the screen. Okay. Yeah, I know. They always do a good job. There's actually lighting here, and I noticed there was a different makeup person today. What happened with that? The other one's on vacation. Okay, and they've given up. The makeup people have given up trying to make me look, as we say, dapper and young. They said just put something over. Put one of those nylon stockings over the lens. I will do that. Thank you, Charlie, for checking in. Let's go to SWL 17. Okay, it's Firefly. That's what it is. Thanks, Todd. Said it actually made it off the launch pad without blowing up. Someone had given me a heads up to, stand up on the roof at some point early this morning, and I did not do that. Let's go to SWL 18. I will give Mikey a check-in via the Facebook side of things. SWL 19 from Derby, New York, by way of Belfast, Maine. We have all sorts of stations listening tonight. Charlie is Chet is helping out with the cue cards as always, and he's pointing to the desk. He's saying, "Oh, he's letting me know He said, don't forget. I have 2 pens. Why do we have 2 pens tonight?" All right. We've got 2 items for the pocket protector. I will try not to forget that. Thank you. 19 is in. Let's go to SWL 20.
Proxy break?
This is the proxy break frequency. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to check in a proxy number 20, number 29, and number 54.
Got them all, including the one that's up right now, SWL 20. So, see if there's a lot of people listening, and Harvey may be tuning in at oldtuberadio.net, which you can do. You can't get by your radio, go to oldtuberadio.net. Hello to way up in the balcony, Dallas, Georgia. I actually did get on the California QSO party today. We'll talk about that coming up. Hello to San Francisco. We've got Florence, Kentucky, another San Francisco. I should wear a flower in my hair for San Francisco. Hello to Indianapolis, Indiana, Inez, Kentucky, Spokane, Washington. We've got Anoka and Belfast, of course, Centerville, Moraga, California. Not to be confused with Malaga, which is just down the way here, and Bowling Green, Kentucky. Do they bowl out there in Bowling Green? I know everybody says that. Anyway, sounding good. Thanks for everyone tuning in. We'll have some radios coming up. Let's go to SWL 21. I got an early check-in for DD21JT. I'm assuming you might have had some internet things going on, because I was in a couple of times, and then it went away, and I checked my stuff, and I think it was working. So JT does a good job over at Old Radio Night. And where is it? They're saying it's down on the desk. Right here. I am an official Old Radio Night aficionado there. If we turn it the right way with number 21, check out Old Radio Night before this net. Especially if you're on the East Coast. You don't have to stay up into the next day to have things going on. Got you checked in, JT. Let's go to SWL 22. SWL 23. And I've got the proxy question mark for 23 Skidoo, who is out there somewhere doing something. Over to SWL 24. The Echo link is up. I see a couple of you out there coming up on the link up, and I will make sure to get you all checked in. SWL 25. And before I turn the page, I want to stay on page 10 because we do, page 1, because we do have SWL 10. Chrissy is checking in. I always see the jumping dolphins, and I know that Idaho is in the OTR house. I don't know about conditions tonight. We will see. The Pacific is fading out, but that doesn't mean that we won't be hearing from our friends to the Pacific Northwest. Thanks for joining us. Heading over to page 2 for SWL 27.
27's checking in via the FM crossband.
All right, via the FM crossband, let's see, I can do that. We can do a simulcast here on the FM crossband. You are sounding good. I always hear you in my headphones, and I have to look around to see where you might be. Hope all is well, that FT8 is happening. And let's see, I don't know if this would be an official California QSO party contact or not. But if so, let's see, you would be my number 13. Anyway, back to you, and thanks for checking in. KB6GFD.
Roger. I6QE.
All right, 27 checked in via the crossband audio. Let's go to SWL 28. And Gary wanted to get a check-in, or he did get a check-in early because he was at some function. Gary he's a popular guy up there in Sacramento, so he's probably out signing autographs. Oh no, he said he's right there. So you didn't sign as many autographs as I thought, or maybe you're still signing them. All right, Gary, we've got you in Sacramento. Hope you had a good time at what you were doing, or maybe you just snuck away and are heading back. Whatever, we've got you checked in. Hey, I want a honk of the proboscis. Where is the honking proboscis? Boso control honk to Captain Robert. Oh yeah, that's a big honk. So we've missed you the last couple of weeks there, Captain Robert. So hope all is going well near Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network, and we've got you checked in. Over to, and the wind is coming up outside. I opened the window up because there was no wind, and now I hear it on the microphonium. Got a proxy check-in for SWL 29, and also a check-in for SWL 30. Dwayne out there in Idaho, over to SWL 32, or I'm sorry, SWL 31. It is a prerequisite that the net controller here on the Old Tube Radio Network at least knows how to count to about 200 to do this. Over to SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33, that would be myself, Boso Control, who's, you still have some honks left, very good. Get you checked in. Who is that? Somebody just came in upstairs. It's Seaside. Hello, Seaside, California. Lots of stuff going on. Make yourself at home here at the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 34, right here, as Motor Mouth Mall would say, right here, right now on the Old Tube Radio Network. We've got Jimmy and Captain Chaos, which always promotes a toot of the train whistle for Mr. Railroader and Company. Let's see if we've got it here. Still need some practice. Waiting for the AGCs to dump out. There's something about that train whistle that really messes up the audio around here. Jimmy, we've got you looking good and sounding good here in the Old Tube Radio Network. And check out the many and various pages that Jim works on, especially the Old Tube CB radio, which is one I like. The Old Tube CB Radio Network, I should say, where you can find items of interest. But there's many, many more. Facebook is actually a good place to get information and pictures and the like. I hope if we have some time tonight to feature a couple of the radios that came across Facebook this week. A lot of good stations out there that unfortunately we can't hear just due to conditions, but hopefully they are able to get on the air. Two longs and a short. That's right. It's sort of like I think it was a cue. It was Wish I had the other thing, but it's the old Q when you pull up the thing as you're crossing around. I need to go to train whistle school. Let's head over to SWL 35. If I go to oldtuberadio.net, as usual, like clockwork, Mr. Bill and Red Monkey Communications checking in from Cheyenne, Wyoming tonight. Let me go back to the control page and put an OK for SWL 35. Thank you, Mr. Bill. Over to SWL 36. And I have to check through my pages here to make sure I haven't missed anybody who has checked in early, but I always do that just in case. Let's go to SWL 37.
SWL 37 here, Dennis, and good evening. You're sounding good over this way.
All right, well, you know, when you are, as they say in the 11-meter world, a mud duck, you have to try a lot harder. Likewise, you are sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
I'll be back in a little while.
Let's go over to SWL 38, Byron, out in Byron, California. Sam listening in, probably at the controls, beaconing the antenna over here to the Central Valley of California and realizing that our band has started to shut down. SWL 39. And it is getting quiet. SWL 40. I was saying I've got about 4 different places, venues that SWL 40 could check in, and I hear none. Let's go to SWL 41. It's Road Dog 507. SWL 42. Got a proxy check in for Crazy Eddie, SWL 43. How about SWL 44? I think I did hear 44. I heard 360 last night on the Ditchbanks sideband. That sounded pretty good. Up the hill, I know there might be some noise up there, Paul, but I'm beaconing out to North Fork. Hello, SWL 45. SWL 46. I wonder, are the Bulldogs playing, is Fresno State playing tonight? Might have a very interesting football game going on. SWL 47. So that means we'll be here. We'll take check-ins whenever we can get them. SWL 48. Here's a station that he wasn't even trying, and he had Hawaii coming back to him. SWL 49.
Hello, Dennis. Mr. 49er himself checking in along with
Sweet Country Mama. Hoping you're having a great weekend and good start to your weekend.
And as always, we appreciate the net very much, and thank you for the check-in. Good evening, all.
All right, good evening. Sounding good. Hello to Sweet Country Mama. And, yeah, your station was rocking and rolling earlier on the skip mode of operation. Thanks for checking in.
Hey, thank you again, and not bad for a little fiberglass stick. Well, that will change soon. Take it easy.
Yeah, you just never know. You put your signal out there, and someone picks it up. Let's head over to SWL 50. And then out to Sangertown for shortwave listener SWL 51.
Shortwave listener 51 checking in.
All right, that's smooth audio. It's S5, and I look over, and I'm thinking it's going to be S9. Sounding good, sir. The conditions are helping us out. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Gas for the net.
45.
Hey, there's 45. Paul, I know it is busy and noisy out there, but I hear you. If you can hear me, 45 over.
Yes, thanks for listening for me. 45. See you, Dennis.
All right, we'll see what happens. If things clear up, we'll look for some radios. If not, you are definitely checked in. Hope you and Kelly are doing well.
Very well.
All right, that is That is good to hear. I do believe we're going over to the Echo link, and we're going to see if we can't pull out Mr. Aaron, KB6 GFD.
Well, through the wonders of having split audio and having Echo Link in my headphones and the YouTube feed on my speaker, SWL 52 from behind the golden microphone for the first time in several years.
And you know what? It sounds good. Sometimes I will sort of pre-key on the Echo link because there is that delay thing going on. But I should have known that being the techno wizard that you are, you would have multiple devices attached to your body so you would not miss a thing. Over.
Very good, yes. It's nice to at least have a decent microphone and decent audio back up and running. And back to the net, SWL 52.
All right, thanks. You are sounding good. 52 is checked in. Sounding also very good audio through the Echo link, KB6 GFD. You know, sometimes, despite our best efforts, technology does work. Let's go to SWL 53.
Hey, good evening there, Dennis. You're sounding good. You got Bel Air the Legend, 53, checking in.
Bel Air the Legend and keeping the legend alive here on the Old Tube Radio Network, beaconing worldwide. Thanks for checking in, Bob.
You're welcome.
Before I turn the page, let's see. Before I turn the page, let me see who is up and running on the video site, just to say hello. Hello to John. I think we'll be coming up to you in a little bit. Eric D is listening, jumping into the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. In his, I think he's got his own parking spot out there now, on right next to the big red limo. Your car doesn't look so big next to that red limo, does it? But it's nice. All right, who else have we got? Who else is joining us tonight? I want to say hello to Hemorrhoid. Probably on a lot of people coming over from their appearances on Old Radio Night, and we appreciate that. Staying up late with the crew here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Rusty Rails saying hello, old radio fans. Made it through another week, and now it's time for radio. I agree. We should have a radio night every night, not just once a week. Levon is in from the off-the-shelf radio tonight, saying hello to the OTR family members and visitors. That's the Rainmaker out there in Hudson Valley of New York. Thanks for joining us. And we got our 7199 crew a little bit earlier. That was cool to have them switch over and come up to this frequency here. So with that, I want to say Big Rich 6520 coming in. Taking a break from all the activity out his way, resting the voice and the fingers, and saying let's see what's going on in the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Let's get a check-in via proxy for SWL 54, SWL 55, SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
We've got you checked in, Phil, and oh no, I went to check the APRS and the window is gone. It must have shut down due to inactivity. So wherever the sitting, walking, running man is, I hope they're having some great RF. Thanks for checking in. Next, we've got SWL 57, and magically, Brown Dog Audio has magically appeared on my screen, checking in, and happy to report that he received a QSL from a station in Southwest Ireland. Pretty cool. See, it's very difficult for us here on the West Coast to do Europe, so I am always in admiration of stations that can do that. So didn't get to QSO, but did return to me. So anyway, first time across the pond to Europe, and you know it's going to get better. We're just that little spot of cycle 25. The bands were pretty good today. Made some contacts for the California QSO party. So good deal. Good to hear the band is opening. BDA, we got you checked in. Let's go to SWL 58. And I will get, I guess begrudgingly, right? to get Jeremy checked in. We're not sure what's going on out there in Tennessee. Let's go to SWL 59.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Can I get a check-in for 55, please, Dennis? I know it's been a while.
Holy cow, you know, I remember that little key up. Dr. J used to have one that sounded just like that. I don't know what the circuit is, but it brought back some great memories. It's been a while, but you know the Saturday night place to be. 55 is checked in, over.
Thank you, Dennis. You guys have a good evening.
All right, 55, Mr. M&M jumping in while we're still on the page. Where are we at? Page 3 here. Where are we going? SWL, I think it was 59 for Uncle Hairball. Got to check in there, I do believe. Yeah, right there. I just have to look. From his engagement over at Old Radio Night. Let's go to the guy that got us started off for the coupon special, SWL 60.
Thank you much, here, Dennis. Need and damned all the fellas. And a little bit of bad news on your Fresno State game, Dennis. We did lose today, but from Connecticut, score was Connecticut 19, Fresno State 14.
Well, we almost made it. Yeah, someone left me a note. Aaron left me a note saying the game was this afternoon. So I'm thinking it must have been somewhere other than Fresno. All right, well, they're giving the old college try, I do suppose. So maybe everyone is everyone is laying down after that one. You are sounding good still. I'm putting the X in the square once again. Thanks.
Thank you much, Dennis.
You are listening to, if I didn't say, the old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark, where for the last 37 years, or at least 37 years, we have been hanging out here on a Saturday evening on Channel 11, 27085, and talking with the shortwave listeners and waiting for the tube radios to come up. You don't need to have any numbers to participate. There is no secret handshake, special hats. There's nothing you need to do except show up and have a good time. And if you have a tube radio and you can be heard by my receiver wherever you might be, when we start to talk into the radios, we will be enlightened and delighted to have you check in and tell us what it is that you are running. What else is going on? Okay, we're on page 3. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to take, and I'll see if this works. I want to jump in and take an Echo link while I have it. So I will see who's there. Oh, okay. We'll call Dan, KA6RCZ. Are you listening? KB6GFD. See if I get Dan here. Yeah.
Hello, Dennis. I hope you can hear me okay on the Echo link. This is KA6RCZ in Sacramento.
Yeah, you're coming through good out of Sacramento. Good to have you listening in and saying hello, radio on the net. I always miss the Saturday afternoon and evening goings on down on the audio frequency at 7199. But I must say, you are getting some very mellifluous audio out of the new set. Thanks for jumping in tonight here on OTR. Over.
Well, I'm getting a big kick out of watching you. I have to keep reminding myself that you can't see me when you're looking straight at the camera because I'm waving to you. And thanks for having me on. 70 degrees.
All right, you're looking good, and let's see. Let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back and wave, and then I want you to take another transmission, and you will see how you look. You'll see your audio through my radio. So let's go back to the REA meter. All right, so back to you for 73 to you, but I want to take one transmission, and you can see that you are actually on the air in Fresno. Over.
Okay, good. I am transmitting through a Android phone, a Samsung Note 10 Plus with Echolink app on it. So I don't know how good the audio is, but I'm trying not to overmodulate it because it looks like it's a little hot on the microphone. Over.
You sound good. No problems here. So we've got you checked in. I'm always amazed how good all the audio comes in. And I'm sure this is super narrow banded stuff and compressed and whatever, but the Echolink seems to work. Thanks for joining us. Say hello to the rest of the gang, and we'll do more later from KB6GFD 73. Back,
73 is K86 RCD is correct.
Back to the list for SWL 61. Oh, 61 is already checked in. I'm listening for Dino, and he was there early, so good deal. Let's go to SWL 62. I was looking to see if King Duckford was in. I don't know if he was in on Old Radio Night tonight. Hello to Adolph Manson. We'll be coming up to you in just a moment, so don't go away. Sabotage UDX 666. Uh-oh. Good evening, everyone. Left coast of Canada. Waving. Canada was in big today on, where's my chart? On the California QSO party. Ontario. British Columbia, and big signals too. I never hear those stations on 10 meters, and just today they were all really loud. Let's go to SWL 63. I've got a check-in for Butterbean out there in North Georgia. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm so sorry. I was distracted, and I guess I must have missed my place in roll call. I was distracted by attempting to purchase some Hobbs Grove tickets online. What a fun experience that is. Greetings from the Radio Lounge, if you don't mind. This is SWL 47.
47 is sounding good. I have placed the X in the square and made it official. And no problem. As long as you see the glowing tube at oldtuberadio.net, a check-in is possible.
Thanks, sir.
Direct-to-net roll call radios are coming up, so if you've got one, keep it warmed up. Butterbean is in at 63, also in at 64, live and direct out there in Nineland. Did I talk to any 9 stations today? I thought I did. We got 4s, 3s, 8s. Yeah, Illinois, K9CT. So the bands were looking good. Got you in there, Adolph. Let's go to SWL 65.
SWL 65, checking in.
Hey, sounding good. Good to have the dynamic duo, 55 and 65, in on the list. It's been a while. The X looks good in the square. Thanks, Eric.
Dennis, we're out here in the mobile, just hopefully making the trip.
Yeah, big signal, S9, not a problem at all.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Having a good evening. Let me go back up to, we're over on page 2, SWL 41. I will find the item of interest and make it. Who's the guy that says, I will make it so? So there we go. Road Dog 507 checking in, representing the Hudson Valley CB Radio Club and the Orange Ulster County React. It's a good thing and still going strong. Saying good evening to everyone, and we'll say good evening right back, 507. Thanks for joining us. '65 is in. Let's go to SWL 66. SWL 67. I got a proxy in for Bill, SWL 68. Another one of our New York stations. Don't see Michael in. SWL 69. I didn't see Kenny in at the top of the list, but I will get Tulsa, Oklahoma checked in because no doubt If he's not there right now, he will come in and watch the video and look to see that SWL 69 has got the check-in, which it does. Over to SWL 70. SWL... Oh, the display is off. They're playing. Well, why isn't it there? Oh, let's do that. All right. Is there... All right, I'm looking up there. Oh, everything's good. Everything is good. Next thing you know, I won't have a microphone, and you'll just see you'll just see, what is it? Wait, you'll see this. Here we go. All right, but what can I tell you? And Chet and Charlie are out there waving. It's like, don't touch the controls. Doggone it, everything's preset. Let's go to SWL 70. And Travis is up in the nosebleed section. All right, well, there's always good stuff up there. You don't even have to come down. You don't have to traverse the steps in the darkened theater up there to have good things happening. Thanks, Travis. We will we will get you. You know what the noise is? It is this condenser microphone and the wind coming through the window. I will fix this. I will close the window again. I just want to get some air, some air in this room. It's just not possible. I'm gonna have to go back to the PR40. Let's go to SWL 71. Stan in Dallas, Georgia. Hello, radio. Stan, I listened for you today, and Stan agrees with me. 10 meters was great today. He was working the California QSO party. He will be back on Sunday spotting everyone. Okay, and I will get back on 10. I made contacts, my 10-meter contacts today. No, that's the wrong page. My 10-meter contacts today. Tennessee, Massachusetts, Ontario, Australia, Ontario, West Virginia. So everything was sort of north and west. Although I did hear the 428 Todd beacon. I think he's down your way. So if I'm hearing Todd on 425, I've got to be hearing 71, right? We'll try. I think I'm going to actually have time to get on the radio tomorrow. And I'm already up to 12 contacts. It's a big DXer here. All right. Thanks, Stan, for checking in. We will look for you tomorrow. Let's go to Radio Boy, SWL 72. SWL, I'll get Radio Boy checked. He was there earlier. He always comes in early and then he forgets to come back. Let's go to SWL 73. SWL 74. SWL 75. Shortwave listener 77.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and glad to be out here in 77, checking in, and 73 to all the listeners.
Sounding good in my neighborhood. Thanks for stopping by. And let's see, okay, they want me to check my audio levels because I played with the controls. I know. Don't touch the controls. All right, that should be better, and I'll check the receiver as well. We are listening for SWL from Wild Wildemar, SWL 78. SWL 79. Shortwave listener 80. And we'll just keep moving on for the before we turn to page 4 for Bob and Steve, see what's happening out there.
27.0850 TR channel 11.
And they said it for sure. Whoopee, the old tube radio network, having a little whoopee time now. What is happening in the world of Bob and Steve for episode 135 here on the 1st of October 2022? And I agree. How did October get here so fast? There's no way to stop the world. You can't get off. The karaoke was a big hit, as I knew it was, mainly because I kind of stayed in the background. Although they thought I did the sound of silence, but I took my cue from the Espresso Trucking Company, and I did my own version of sounds of silence, and I think that's why they enjoyed it so much. The Green Room Lounge has the hot tub back in service. You can come join us anytime. The Jingle Singers did finally get up enough nerve to do the zip line. They were my proxies. I said, you guys and gals go out there and do it for me. The drop is 33 feet. I'm thinking, I don't want to jinx the thing. So the 33 feet and the drop. I don't say drop to somebody who's about ready to hang on the zip line. But it is fun, and we'll be doing it again. Fresno State had a great game today, playing Yukon Huskies. Took the team to the airport in the white limo. They loved it. The Bulldogs 14, the Huskies 19. So it was good. It was a great game up to a certain point for sure. The smell is coming from the balcony. I say smell. I should say the aroma. And it's the hot cinnamon raisin bagels. I think that's why there's such a big crew up there tonight. Everybody is waving and flashing their little, I don't know what those are, like LED things or LED, yeah, it's something, little red lights. The things you chase the cat, the laser tag, yeah. Chasing the cats with it up there. So get them while you can. I have a couple reserved on order because I'm not a big cream cheese fan, but I do like the hot butter, and they got plenty of that. At the bar tonight, from Culver's in Rapid City, South Dakota, North Atlantic, cod dinner, coleslaw, French fries, and a dinner roll. The coffee and tea are on Bob and Steve. As it should be. They always like to pick up the tab on something. We should say, don't forget to feed the fish out there, the fish food. The old Tube Radio Network. I'll be back. I'm going to go close that window. Thanks for joining us.
27.085 OTR Channel 11.
Okay, I'm back. Where's the video here? And thank you. They reminded me, not only do I have to close the window down a little bit, there's a fan that's behind the rack that blows on the equipment. I think that's causing some havoc as well. So I turned off the fan. The equipment can suffer and so kind of. No, actually it's kind of nice today. It was 90, so it's cooling down. When the sun goes down, it actually cools off in Fresno. They're saying they want to see something on the meter. I don't know. When I key down, or is it key up? I could do that. All right, it doesn't matter. Let's go to. We want to get to some radios. Let's go to page 4. We've got a check in for SWL 81, SWL 82 checked in moments ago from the mobile radio. Be sure to catch Ron and all the Ditch Bank gang on Friday evenings at 8 o'clock here on the Pacific Coast on 36 Lower. Let's go to SWL 83. SWL 84. Although I didn't check in this week, I did hear the great sounding old tube station from Jerry, Cheerios Kid, up there on the 40-meter Jefferson sideband net, sounding good as a net controller. couple of days out of the week, at least a couple of days out of the week. We'll also get Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and Snowy Owl checked in 86, 87, and 88 respectively over to SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 91. Felix is right there saying hello radio to Net Control. The SWLs and our future, soon-to-be, old tube radio operators. Hope we have a few of you tonight. The band, as you can hear, the band has quieted down quite nicely. Maybe take a look at what the chart is doing. It's still showing some, beaconing, but not as much from the west coast to Hawaii, but we're certainly not hearing it up here on 11 and 10 meters. Over to SWL 92. SWL 93. Got to be careful where I click sometimes. Things that were once there often go away. SWL 95, and I do see SWL 95 right there from Orlando, Florida. I did not hear any Florida stations. Hopefully everybody's is okay and doing what they need to do to clean up after the storm down that way. Thanks for joining us. Over to, let's go a little closer to home, SWL 96. SWL 97. Looking to see if Jim was out there, waiting for a bit of the delay. SWL 98, Tracy definitely in the queue, so I'll get the X in the square for 98. And I'm trying to think, were you on last night on Ditch Banks? I don't remember hearing you, but I was sort of, in and out listening. I know I had to be there for when I checked in, but usually I can hear you on the sideband things. Let's see, who is on our Echo Link? We've got Tony will be coming up and the other Tony. So let's go to SWL 99. That is, and thanks, Tracy. Tracy was there. Oh, and 97 is in. All right. I knew there was a bit of a delay. Let me go back. Let me put 97 up on the board here. Indeed, 98 is in. 99. I'll give a proxy check in for Randy. We heard Randy last week in the echo chamber. Randy is one of the big gun stations, and he used to run. He used to be net controller for the AMI net, all the old boat anchor big power radio stations. So we'll get to chat with him on Echo Link at some point. Okay, now let's go over to the Echo Link for Tony out there in McClellanville, South Carolina, KB6GFD.
Good evening, Dennis. This is Kilo Delta 4 Bravo Alpha Oscar, SWL 100. Thanks for having me, and back to Net Control, KD4BAO.
All right, good to hear you. Hope whatever parts of the storm you might have been involved with there wasn't too bad. You are sounding good through the Echo Link, and glad you are joining us tonight. KB6GFD. So I've got 100, 102. This guy's been waiting for a while to see the number go up. John in Arkansas, thank you. 102, we've got you checked in. From St. Louis, Missouri, SWL 103. I don't know if you were there, John, but we'll get you checked in if you were. 102 is in for sure. This is the St. Louis, Missouri, John. We've got Arkansas, John, in. Let's go up and away to SWL 109. Hello, Crawdad.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
And if Skipland is gone, they're probably looking at their radios now and saying, no, we thought the band was closed. You are sounding good as always. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert checked in, tried to check in early, but the skip was pretty bad. So I saw him on the old tuberadio.net list. And here's a station that I often hear on early Friday mornings when I happen to be near the early risers net, and I'm by a radio. But I never get to say hello radio to Tom, but he is standing by and checking in over on oldtuberadio.net. I'll stand by. Tom, if you're there, take a transmission. Over. Trying to see if I could hear Tom out in Sangertown. Sometimes I can, but we got you checked in. Let's go to a station I can always hear, even when he's down in Berenda Slough, SWL 114.
114 checking in.
Hello, Wayne. Hope all is well. I've got the X in the square. That's 6 in a row. 2 more to go. Thanks.
Thank you for the check-in.
Up we go to shortwave listener 128. Whiskey Papa Echo 9, India Charlie Mike. I thought that might be it. Don't know if you're on the air today. Various way. I was out trying to give people some points on the California QSO party. I actually managed to make 12 contacts. I do see on the list 45 minutes or so ago checking into the Old Tube Radio Network, as you often do on a Saturday evening, and a late Saturday evening out there where you are. So thanks for joining us tonight. Over to SWL 131. Yeah, Eric, we're all saying that. And 109, Crawdad is not that close to this station. He's up in the hills, beaconing down. But that's what a big station can do for you when you run it right. Let's go to SWL 133. All right, Dave, boy, you are in my noise, but I heard you in there. I'll have to go out and check my antenna, but thanks for jumping into the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Let's try, sometimes called the Green Arrow, SWL 135.
SWL 135, checking in.
Sounding good here on the Old Tube Radio Network. I will put an X in the square, and I do have a spot reserved for you on the Tube Radio list.
Cool.
Where are we heading? Oh, you know where we're going? Let me fire up the Echo link, and I believe Tony is not in the his normal air chair tonight up there in Course Gold, but he will be joining us via the Echo link, looking for AJ6PD from KB6GFD.
Well, good evening, Dennis and the group. This is Tony, AJ6 PD, SWL 145, remote on Echo Link from Monterey. And I should be back next Saturday afternoon, so hopefully I'll be live and direct next Saturday night.
All right, we've got you checked in. Thanks for joining us. I always enjoy your early morning nets and answering the questions. All right, thanks for joining us. Always enjoy the Friday Night Nets. Have a great trip, and we'll see you when you get back. KB6GFD. Back to the net for SWL 147. And Neil was there. Yeah, checking in. Kakalaki in the house. Had a visit from Ian yesterday. Dumped lots of rain. Yeah, so he's in that area. Dumped lots of rain and breezy, but not dangerous. So they get the aftermath. And lots of rain. Lots of rain for us is a half an inch. Now, that is not what you mean by lots of rain, I'm sure. And Charlotte was worse. So anyway, I'm glad that everybody who's out in that area seems to be up and with us tonight without much unrepairable damage, if any. So thanks for stopping by out there in Kakalaki. The Old Tube Radio Network. Let's see if Bob. I'm thinking that he's conked out after a very long day of Skipland, where you are the station that everybody hears, SWL 188. Yeah, might not be able to hear me, but we'll get 188 checked in. Was hearing him talk to just about anywhere at any time today on the big station. Let's head up to SWL 195 in Corsico.
195, checking in, Dennis.
Another beautiful day down in the Midtown, the dregs of Midtown Fresno. It means yet indeed a beautiful day up there in Corsico. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. We got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis. You have a good evening.
And the radios are on their way, so if you've got one, get ready, because we'll be doing the check-ins coming up. SWL 226. And anybody who would like to check in or say hello, radio, will be listening for you before we head out to Neutral Observations and Hello Radio. UDX 382. Checking in and looking good on the video side. We are streaming at oldtuberadio.net, where you can find a link if you get to that page for the live video show. Just click on it. It'll take you right there. Anybody else before we head to the radios? I got a crunch, but I didn't catch the audio. I think that was 24?
No, sir.
Oh, all right. 650. All right. Now, your audio's doing a funky thing.
Yes, sir. Hey, Gay Foxy and 50 and Ditch Bank 2.
Yes and yes. Actually, believe it or not, the ditch banks came by in the mobile, and I will get the other station.
No board. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks for jumping back into the radio room. We've got you checked in. And Travis says they need more popcorn up there. Yeah, you know what? There are so many people up in the balcony tonight that I think we have taxed our system of goodies. So we will send a care package up that way. Hello, radio. Robert, good to have you back on the list. Looking good. And we'll be back in a moment as we will check in some tube radios and get glowing in the dark, which is what we are supposed to do here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Hence the name. Back in just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time. No, it's not. Hold on. I have to I have to switch the feed. If I don't switch the feed, the archive doesn't work. I'll be right back. They're waving their hands saying, no, you can't do this yet. All right, hold on. You'll see the tube stop glowing for a moment, but it will come right back. Okay, now as they say on the radio, I think it is soup yet. And you can't believe all the things that one has to do to get this on the air. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
And the audience is applauding, of course, for our soon-to-be recognized tube radio operators who have taken the time and the expense and the radio real estate to make sure that we here at the Old Tube Radio Network have something to do when we ask for check-ins of the radio. So without further ado, I will say this is the Old Tube Radio Network, and we're listening.
Number 75135.
All right, we have 7 and 135. Who was the other station? Was there another station for tube radio check-ins? Over.
45.
All right, there we go. So we'll take items in order of appearance. Paul, you will be radio 3. Radio number 3, Paul. Cliff, you will be radio number 2. And stepping up into the air chair here at a little bit after 9 o'clock, or maybe a lot after 9 o'clock, I don't know how accurate I am, is Mr. Ed. Hello, radio.
And hello, OTR and all the SWLs. Bringing by the Tram TR27 Echo.
The damn tram, and it is certainly much quieter than it was not too long ago. I am pulling out the Rolodex, and I am excited because I know that I have a picture of the TR27E, and it is actually the one on which you were talking, so I'll bring that up. And just a note, if you're listening locally, and you probably know this, but if you don't, if you go on some type of media device to oldtuberadio.net, you can actually watch some video there while you listen to your radio. You will see when we put radios online, or if you'd like, you could click on the link to the YouTube and hear everything that way. So it's sometimes fun to listen live here locally. Listen live and bring up the video to see the radios going on. So let me stop talking and we will hear from the big green machine. Go ahead.
There you are. It is definitely taking up some real estate there on the bench. So, yes, it's large, 5x7 speaker. The S meter, nice, 3.5 inches wide, 3 inches tall. Yeah, nothing small. Nice radio. Oh, and the Electro Voice 638 microphone attached.
The EV 638. I'll make a note. I don't have it right away, but I want to, before we sign off tonight, I'll get a shot of the Electro Voice 638 microphonium that Ed has attached to that. It's a favorite microphone of the Collins radio guys and any of the, I think, higher impedance tube radios for just some good communication, quality audio, and no nonsense, especially if you're in a noisy environment and things like that. Plus, it looks super cool. On channel 11, the transmit knob selected there, and somewhere on the receive tune. I'm not sure. How close are we to being right on 11 on your receive tune?
Actually, on the receive, it's just a hair off to the right of the line for 11, so I just have to have just a hair off to get you dead on.
Okay, not a problem, because you have a way to spot. I do believe there's probably some type of spotting device on there. Yeah, there's the spot, the little switch that'll let you tune it wherever it is. Wherever it falls, that's a good thing. Thanks for us getting us started off. Our radio number one on the list tonight, the Tram TR27E from Mr. Ed. Thanks for stopping by.
And thank you, and I'll take a listen.
Okay, and I will be checking some audio levels here on the Tube Radio Network. I want to make sure the receive is in. Who's stepping up on the air chair right now? It's 135, Mr. Greenhour. And again, I reiterate that you do not have to have any particular numbers or anything to come by and check in a radio for sure. Having a radio qualifies for that, or perhaps you were thinking, well, I've never been on the old Tube Radio Network before, and that would be a good thing. We are always welcoming stations that are just finding that old tube radio that, you know, Uncle Ed, and Ed saying, what? No, Uncle Fred, Uncle Barney, Aunt Emma, you know, has left in the garage, and you come across it and dust it off and make sure it's good and bring it by. That is why we're here. That's why this was started, to test radios and microphones and just get on the air. Speaking of getting on the air, hello, Cliff, over.
Hello, Dennis, over.
Since you are up in the guest air chair, tell us about the radio du jour, and I'll see if I can find it in the Rolodex here.
Okay, well, don't go too far from that one. This is SWL 135 out here in the CB Cabana with a radio from Winnisquam, New Hampshire. New Hampshire, however you want to say it. This is the Tram Titan. Let's see, there are 12 tubes, all 23 channels, crystal-controlled transmit and VFO receive. The microphone I'm on is, right now, is the Pace plastic black and white handheld unamplified microphone. Back to you.
Back to me. I'm just making some adjustments on the video here. Sounding good. I think was JT was on a tram tonight. He was on a couple of radios tonight, and the tram might have been one of them. But I always kick myself for not picking up when Mr. Bill was leaving town and was having some radios out for sale. There was a beautiful Tram Titan. Not the Titan 2, but the Tram Titan, which is the AM only version, and which is the radio that followed the one we just heard. Notice they kept the cool S meter, but they did some cool stuff to the front end. Good audio as always. You can't beat a Tram. Over.
Now, speaking of which, I do have the original desk mic here. Can I plug that in real quick and for comparison?
Yeah, let me get on the Orban meter here. So take a transmission right now, and we'll catch you on the loudness meter. Go ahead.
Okay, this is the Pace mic, the Pace plastic handheld unamplified microphone 1, 2, 3, 4 suffering sausages and babbling sibilants. How's that?
It's pretty good. I may have things up a little bit too hot, but you're making up to minus 14 and then some. Cliff is going to change the microphone and we'll come back and see what do you think. So let us know.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch plug, so it's real easy to pop out and pop back in. This is the original desktop type microphone, which, hello, I see I am not getting much swing out of, but there it is for your listening enjoyment. Suffering sibilants. Boom, ba boom, boom, boom. Back to you.
Back to me in the studio. Yeah, you've got a good 4 dB of less loudness with that. The quality is good. That's to say the frequency response, and I don't know if the other one's a little bit shriller because it's louder or if it has a little bit more high frequency articulation. I want to go back to the full picture because someone asked a question. Let me find it here. There it is on the tram. So yeah, you're going to either, I don't think you could talk loud enough to get anywhere near 100% modulation on the one you got now.
Okay, but this one is, hello, yeah, it seems to have an awful lot more stuff going on for it. And I am a tad low in frequency, which is annoying, but I guess it's...
You can hear me at least, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was just checking the frequency, 84, like 84.5 probably on that, but of course we're wide receive on the AM side, so not a problem with that. It sounds good. It's nice and clear. Someone asked, is that a VFO? Yes, the tram actually has a receive VFO. The channel selector is below the S meter in that little tiny window. So you've got to be crystal controlled. With 11 meter, with the Class D 11 meter, you've got to be crystal control on the transmit. You do not have to be on the receiver. So a cool way, early on, so you didn't have to pack the thing with 46 crystals, was to be crystal controlled, 23 channels on the transmitter, and put your VFO on the receive. And then, of course, you had to give yourself a spot switch. I see in our picture, which is your radio. That's the second tram we have that is actually the radio we're listening to. There's a crystal plugged into the socket. Don't tell me that's a channel 11 crystal, is it?
Well, of course it is. And yeah, that's your only other option for receive. One channel at a time. Or otherwise, you just spot with the on the VFO, and that's good. It allows greater latitude, but it is pretty narrow. If somebody's really off frequency, it's hard to hear it unless you adjust that VFO, which is not a problem. It's very easy to do. Just tune them in until they come in crystal clear. And yeah, it's got the Collins mechanical filter in there, which keeps things nice and tight. But again, you might have to play with the VFO. Other than that, yeah, you just plug in a receive crystal, one channel only, and you can switch over to that anytime you like.
Most excellent. Yeah, I forgot. They actually put the trams put the Collins mechanical filters in there. So a great receiver on tram. And this is the Titan 1. It was an all steel, all tube chassis, of course, AM only, with great transmit, as you can hear, and receive with the Collins mechanical filter in the front end. Sam's Photofax number book 13 has more information and a schematic on that radio. And as always, we are able to share it with you here on the Old Tube Radio Network thanks to our tube radio operators. A cool-looking radio, and I don't have a price point on that, but I'm pretty sure it was up in the $300 range, and one of the, if not the most expensive, one of the more expensive radios for, 1964, 65, somewhere in there before they went to the Tram Titan 2. Thanks for bringing by Radio 2 tonight. It's sounding good. Over.
Yeah, thanks. And sorry, I forgot to give you your signal report. Yeah, you are 40 over into the green. I think Ed's does this too. It goes 60 over, I think, on his meter. This also goes 60 over, and you are 40 over. So I guess it's all relative. Back to you.
It is all relative. I think there were some various ways to adjust your meter, whether it's the Art Collins, and I don't know how many what is it, dBm or something to make an S9 signal, and then Kenwood had a way to do it. So depending on how you adjust them to which standard, you may get a 40, you may get a 20, but like you said, it's relative. And as long as I'm, as we say in the old Tube Radio Network, 9 pounds, good modulation, Chestnut and Herndon, it is a good thing. Thanks for bringing by the Tram Titan from close to 1965. Let me beacon over to up the hill to Paul. Hello, 45. Are you hearing me through the noise tonight? Over.
Yeah, you bet. Got something real important to talk to you about. Up there at North Fork, guess who was up there? It was a guy by the name of Rob Mavis. And he's in charge of the radio support for the Grizzly Century Bike Race. Really nice guy, as you know, Rob. For him, we probably wouldn't be on the air right now. Back to you.
Indeed. And Rob, who is SWL, boy, look at the wind coming up. Rob, who is SWL3, is one of the early net controllers here that helped us out with the old Tube Radio Network, got us on the Universal Media Netweb back before the 21st century. So that's right. I think he's working with the Clovis Amateur Radio Pioneers, and they were assisting with the bike race or whatever was going on up there. So glad he's able to stop by. And hopefully we'll hear Rob soon. I know he's got some HF restrictions where he's at, but get a check in any that way. So good to hear the update from Rob. Tell us about the radio that you are on. Over.
Okay. Well, I'm checking in my helicopter model CB-1.
Wow, I thought, I should know this by now. I was thinking that Cliff was the only one that had a CB1. From, I think it's 1959. I'll put up the full screen. I'll try and describe it for those who don't have the picture. This is basic. It looks like a speaker. And I think it was, the case was used from helicopters, either their Kier or one of their speakers, and then they stuck a radio inside of it. It's just super cool. It is the most elementary get-on-the-air radio that you could have. It's one channel. You can't select it. The crystal is inside. It turns on and off. I don't even know if there's a squelch. It may be in the back. They give you probably a ceramic or crystal microphonium that is wired, hardwired, and then you have the push-to-talk bar. You're not pressing a button on the microphone. You're pressing a bar across the front of the radio, and I'm surprised. That is some great audio, and no doubt the magic iTube is blinking when you talk over.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to top that, but I'll tell you about the whole thing. It's a green radio, I'll tell you. Front of the radio is volume control, lower light, red radio light in front left when it's turned on. It's speakers in the front and the back of the radio is, well, that is just a slide switch on the back. We're interested. Because this is an old radio, I'll tell you that. It's really, I think, well, the first was made, called CB1 and the helicopter report, and they took everything out. It's a large radio. I really love operating it. Back to you.
No, it's cool in its simplicity. I mean, that's one of the nice things about the tube radios as a driver, and just like an old car, you jump in the DeSoto with the big fins, or your car has holes in the side or whatever, and then you get inside in the giant dashboard. This is another way. This looks like no other CB radio around. Absolutely. The Magic Eye makes it cool. The push-to-talk bar. You are on the air when you press that bar. Over.
Yeah, I tell you got the original tubes in it, too. I hope they last for a long time. Back to you.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that could be a plus. The 6BQ5s, I'm not sure what their audio tube is, but some of the older tubes were actually selected and picked for these radios because, they were audio, not music tubes, but they were more audio specific. So I think a lot of times the original tubes on some of these radios, if you've got them in there and they're still at 75%, it's not worth changing them out, trying to find something that's any better. We're talking to Radio 3. Paul is at the microphonium of the first Hallicrafters radio, and Hallicrafters made amateur radio gear, they made televisions, they did all sorts of cool stuff. They were owned, I think it was William Halligan, was the guy that started it off in the 1920s, I do believe, and in the late 60s, 70s, the company was, or in the mid-60s, it became a subsidiary of Northrop Aircraft, and then I think it was totally sold to them. This is an 11-tube. I was thinking it wasn't. This is an 11-tube radio. It actually has more tubes than the CB3A. It's got a rectifier tube, so you've got a 5Y3GT. The 6E5 is the tube that is the Magic Eye tube. It's a 6 Echo 5. And I'm looking for the output modulator, 6K6GT. Good stuff. Thanks, Paul, for bringing it by. Always enjoy the Hallicrafters radios. Over.
Definitely. I sure enjoyed the day with Rob Maven, too. It was a wonderful day. Thanks for checking it in.
Yeah, good to see Rob. He used to be in the bowling league on Thursday nights, but he didn't sign up this year, so I don't get to see Rob. Who was it? It's, Pittsburgh Estate Sales, reminding us that I mentioned transmitters. I've got an HT37, but the SX100. My very first piece of amateur gear is an SX25 Super Defiant, which I still have. I picked it up
Good evening, Dennis. It's Randy.
when I was in high school. And we'll pick up Randy on the YouTube since we're talking about old radios and key down. Let me see if I can pick up Randy on the YouTube side. We've got the Hallicrafters radio we just heard, and Randy was net controller on the AMI net. It's up on down on 75 meters, I should say. Or is it up when you're talking about the band? It's up on 75 meters. Your frequency is down on 75 meters. But anyway, I'm thinking that Randy probably checked in a lot of Hallicrafters, maybe the HT37s or the BC610s. But anyway, Randy, if you can hear me, take a transmission here on the Old Tube Radio Network here on Echolink, KB6GFD.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. Beautiful day here in Cave Creek, Arizona. And you sound great, Dan. I shut off all the other audio, so I'm just working with the audio on Echolink, and it works great. I think I heard you on earlier on the other frequency, but I had to leave, and I just had a chance to come back on and say hello to everybody, and I love it. The great sounding radios. Maybe if it's okay with you, I'll bring home my Johnson 500. Has 11 meters on it, and but I still haven't been able to hear you guys yet. I hear some of the gentlemen breaking in, but I just can't wait to work you on the HF bands. Anyway, everybody have a wonderful evening, and thank you, Dennis. It's a lot of fun. But maybe I'll speak to you later on the other frequency. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
All right, thanks for joining us. That's Radio Randy out there in Arizona. The picture that's up on the video right now is what Randy will be using to beacon this way from Arizona. We get some conditions. We had conditions, but not working too well. But Randy's got some cool, and it's not the Class D style, but it's radios with 11 meters, and Randy's got some very good, we call them boat anchor radios, and should be able to beacon to us with the multi-elemental focusing device there and say hello radio over the air. And like I said, he is no stranger to tube radios. He used to be a net controller for some of the biggest and best and loudest sounding old boat anchors on the West Coast with the AMI net. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, and we're listening for radio number 4. KB6GFD. Thanks, Randy. And is it time for the jingle singers? I think so.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Listening for Radio 4. Oh, and I will come back, because as always, I forget to do what I'm supposed to do when we jump into the YouTube radio portion here, and that is populate the pocket protector with this week's radio sponsors. And there's a treat. We have two of them. First is, let's see, I guess I should clear the radio out of there. First, we have... Did it go away? Yes, it did. All right. First, we have Budco Metronics Incorporated, wholesale electronics parts and components at 601 West 11th Street in Indianapolis, Indiana. I spoke to Indianapolis, Indiana today on the California QSO party. A very cool, they just don't make them like this anymore. There's the less than stellar close-up cam. You can see Budco Electronics. Very cool pin that is going into the pocket protector, but wait, there's more. Now this is even better. We have from General Electric Supply Company at 204 East Willard Street, 6613 Muncie, Indiana. Muncie, Indiana? No, that was Gary, Indiana. But take a look at this. It's got some little, I don't know what you call it, bubble thing. I'm sure this is probably toxic juice in here, but can you see? If I hold it correctly, there is a little, where is it? Yeah, there's a floating bubble thing going on there. And so it's not quite a lava lamp, but it floats up, and that, how old, this pin is probably 60 or 70 years old. And I will put it in the pocket protector and hope whatever that is, whatever is holding that in there does not break and disintegrate, but it probably won't, because it's not something new. New stuff wouldn't last, but this is going strong, and that goes in the pocket protector tonight. Thank you to General Electric Supply Company out there in Muncie, Indiana. This is the Old Tube Radio Network, and we are listening for radio number 4. Whoa, that definitely got my attention. Hello, 60.
Hello, Dennis. Doggone it, we'd like to check in our Johnson Blackface Messenger number 2.
I can do that from Edgar F. Johnson and Company. I'm going to find it in the Rolodex. Boy, that is, I don't know if you changed something or what, but that radio is loud tonight, over.
I guess conditions are kind of clearing up on us there. Yeah, we may have the clearest evening yet. But Dennis, I'd like to check in the Johnson, 10 tube, 10 channels, and with an amazing front. I was telling Cliff earlier, if you look at it head on, if you were standing on the railroad tracks, you'd think it'd be a train coming at you with the dials and the lights and the amber light in the middle.
Indeed. I'll bring up an ad. I think this is a Canadian, trying to see. I think it's a Canadian version of an ad. They call it a Citizens Radio Transceiver. So this is early 1960s now. This is the second version of the Johnson Viking Messenger 2. And again, we were talking simplicity on the Helicopter CB1. This is sort of simplicity doubled. You got you got 2 knobs. You got 4 knobs. And a microphone with a switch on it. But still, there's no S-meter, nothing fancy. It's like they used to say, it's what's inside that counts. It sounds good, over.
Well, I'm assuming, Dennis, that it's receiving on the top shelf because you're coming in loud and clear. In fact, I got to lower you once in a while. There, you're kind of strong. So I know that if it had an S meter on it, you'd be pegging it. But other than that, doggone it, she's working pretty good. And she is a skosh bit warm from front to back. This is considerably a warm radio when it's at its peak.
Yeah, it's called, what do they call it? Convection cooling. You have the tubes inside, you have little vents, a little grate that you can look down and see the tubes glowing. Unlike transistor radios where you have to have massive heat sinks, they don't like to get hot. Tube radios thrive in the Central Valley summers. They love it hot. If you were to be buying this radio brand new, here's some reasons that you would be purchasing it. Here's the price points of the Messenger TWO. 23-channel tunable receiver and 10-channel transmit and receive. It's got 2 IF stages for improved selectivity. It's got excellent adjacent channel rejection, which unfortunately I think the other Viking one did not. It's got an improved noise limiter circuit, and it's got a plug-in provision for the tone alert selective calling system. Plus, now this is the one that I know if you were trying to decide on what radio to buy, this is the one that would have caught you. New modern styling. Back to you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll buy some of that. Well, like I say, it's a fun radio. Looking at it, yeah, I can see how people spend many hours talking on these radios. We like it. We've enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to key this up as long as she'll put out, Dennis.
And we're glad of it, because here on the Old Tube Radio Network, we want to kind of stay around here as long as we've got tube radio operators. They will do just that. While we're keyed up, I want to say hello to 007 Extreme CB, who is listening into the great sound of the Messenger TWO from the Jersey Shore. Crash 350, saying the old Johnson sounds great, and I agree. And Dwayne saying that the Johnson is sounding pretty good tonight. So you've got the SWLs listening tonight. Thanks for it's radio number 5, or is it? No, it's radio number 4. I'm ahead of myself here. Take another transmission. Thanks. And like I said, it's doing a good job. It hasn't missed a beat.
Thank you much, Dennis. And the fellows out there, we appreciate it. Okay, Dennis. Well, then we'll get on out of here, and we possibly have another one to go before the evening runs out on us. Okay, Dennis. Appreciate you. Let me check this one in.
And we are glad to have it here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Okay, I'm just looking to see. Oh, I want to share some radios that came in, and I think it's going to be right here. Yeah, now we actually have had one of these pairs check in on the Old Tube Radio Network. This is actually a mobile radio, and I'm talking about the Heathkit. It's the Cheyenne and the Comanche from Heathkit. It's the Heathkit twins, but it was made as a mobile radio, I do believe, and I think Harvey checked one of those in. But they do have an 11-meter position on it, and that's from Brutus Lee and his Heathkit collection. So very nice job, and hopefully we'll be able to hear them sometime soon here on the Old Tube Radio Network. But in the meantime, if you've got something warmed up, we want to hear from you. OTR listening for Radio 5.
Number 7.
And number 7 beaconing in. As I get back to my control page, you are number 5. Take a transmission.
Okay, the good old Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB.
Okay, good. You know, because Harvey is probably listening. And if he doesn't make it back to the air chair in time, no doubt he's going to be pining away for the sound of a Mark III, which you are giving us right now. Take a transmission.
There we go, the good old Mark III two-piece. Now there's a lot of real estate for a radio right there. And I also have the banana mic attached, and the little on-the-air light is lit up, so I do believe it's working.
As they say on radio, it is working. Ed, on the Browning, the two-piece transmitter receiver, and this is a throwback to the early AM days, or in a lot of the AM days of amateur radio, where you bought a receiver and then you bought a transmitter. You had your Johnson Viking desk or the Ranger or whatever, and you had to pair it with some transmitter. I'm sorry, you had to pair it with the receiver. Maybe, who was it that said they had the SX100? Pittsburgh. It was Pittsburgh State Sales says he had an SX100, so you'd do it. So Browning made it easy. They sold you both at the same time, although you could buy them separately, and some people did.
Yes, these are not matching serial numbers, so I guess, one was bought at a different time, but, yep, two pieces are attached together, and the old Browning mic, and, of course, Harvey had to go through this one because it needed a little bit of help, and a few things had to be replaced, but, hey, it got back on the air.
And we are glad that it did. In fact, back in my early CB days in the early 1970s, I used to talk to a station that ran a Johnson Messenger TWO, and he had it set up for a controlled carrier and had it tweaked out. It was just a really great sounding transmitter. But he said, you know what, I really don't like the receiver on that. So he bought the Browning receiver and he had them tied together. And so he used the Browning receiver with the Johnson transmitter, and it worked quite well. Radio 5, the old tube radio network from Browning Laboratories in, Laconia, New Hampshire, on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III that came out in 1972. That was the enhancement, the replacement, let's kind of push it all together from the Mark II train, 1972. Made it through 73, 74, 75, and 76, and would still keep going, except the FCC did the 40-channel thing and says you can't sell those 23-channel radios anymore. So hence begat the Mark IV. Price back in the day, maybe $650, $750, even more probably at the end of the run. And these days, if you find one that's been refurbed, you will probably be paying a lot more than that. Over.
Oh yeah, in order to replace this one, it would definitely cost me way too much now. So I'm very happy to keep this one on the air.
And we're happy to have it here. Getting some thumbs up from the SWLs. That sounds great, nice and crispy. I would agree with that. And he's on the banana-style microphone, so you definitely get a different sound with the D104, but it definitely has the Browning sound. I don't know what they had on the audio circuit, but it was sort of like, thou shall not transmit audio lower than 150 hertz, because you know what? It's not what you need to get out there and bust the DX pile. Thanks.
Oh, there you go. Well, thanks much to OTR, and we'll sit back and take a listen.
I think the jingle singers got excited on hearing that one.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. 52. Fresno, California.
Sounding good. Let me take a moment here, and we'll pop over on the uplink link for a second and see what's up. KB6 or GFD, go ahead.
37.
Yeah, I was wondering, I have an old radio it's not tubes, but it's a 23-channel Craig. Looking it up real quick, it's a model 4201, and I'm wondering if anybody would be interested in giving it a new home. I am in the process of clearing out some old stuff and was wondering if anyone was interested.
All right. The Craig 4201. Is that 23 or 40 channels? Over.
It's 23 channels, and it's been sitting in a box or a closet or an office for the last 9 years. It has not been powered on, but it does come with the microphone.
All right. Well, we'll see. And that I think that's a plus, being that it is a 23-channel radio vintage. So it's definitely be 76 or before. All right. Well, that has been beaconed across the airwaves. And 37, don't go away. Get ready for the air cheer, because you're going to be radio number 6. All right, we will see. You might also check over on the video side, because everybody there heard that, so we might have some response that way. All right, thank you, sir. And hopefully you'll still be checking in with us. Don't need the Craig radio, but we'll be listening for you, so thanks. KB6.
Is he local, Dennis?
Yes, that is Aaron. That station is local.
Well, what is he asking for it?
And that question is coming up, and we'll find out. In the meantime, speaking of coming up, let me go back to the control room here. You are Radio 6. Take a transmission.
Okay, Dennis. Well, you know which radio I want to check in. I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A 24-channel tuber that glows in the dark with the handheld, I believe it's a stock microphone. It's the radio. The microphone goes with the radio. Over.
It's when you open the box and the microphone was there, plugs right in, it works. So why change anything? Radio 6, the Super MC11A, and Aaron says you just need to come pick it up in Fresno for that Craig radio.
You got to tell me where, Eric. Eric, just give me a call if you're there. Got a pencil?
Yeah, that is Aaron in Fresno. Over.
Okay. Does he have a pencil ready?
I bet he does. So, Aaron, listen out, because I think someone is ready to find out where to pick that up.
I have a notepad ready.
Okay, yeah, he's got a notepad ready. There he is. It's funny, his voice just popped into my headphones. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, Aaron. Yeah, it's 473-9060, and that's all, my cell phone.
All right, I'm sure he got that, and very good.
One more time on the last 4 digits.
9060, 9060.
All right, very good. The Super MC11A beaconing across the local airwaves and also on oldtuberadio.net. Our fan favorite for, we had some very early radios that were one button, one knob. This one, they added a few more, but still sounds good with only, 9 or 10 tubes in there.
Yeah, and you know, and this in here, it still works too. I can answer phone.
Got it. All right. 73 to you. Thanks for Radio 6 on our list of lists tonight from beautiful downtown Burnbank, the General Radio Telephone, Super MC11A. And is it, who was the guy that says the jingle singers would like to say this about that?
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever wherever you are. Your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
We are listening for Radio 7.
Dennis, how about this one for 7?
It sounds good. I was dragging my feet. I wasn't sure if SWL7 would have 7, but I think he will approve of what is going to be Radio 7. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. I'd like to check in my pretty blue radio from World Radio Labs, my Hustler base.
Yes, we all approve of that. World Radio Labs, Leo Meyerson, we were talking about the old amateur boat anchor radios. Leo Meyerson from World Radio Labs making some of the best boat anchor transmitters, the Globe King, the Globe Scout, things you roll into the room on the casters and key down on AM and put out a couple of 100 watts. I've got a picture for those who are at oldtuberadio.net or watching the channel here, and if I center it up, this is the radio, and here's the voice on it. Go ahead.
Thank you much, sir, Dennis. Doggone it, nice-looking little radio, too. A very small speaker and very small, when you look at the meter, you would be like looking at maybe a walkie-talkie meter. But a very nice-looking little radio. It's got 4 knobs. It does have for an extra channel. Has all the extra hardware. Ready to attach under a dashboard if you wanted to take that route. It also has the hand mic. Pretty little blue mic that goes along with the radio. Dennis, this one is 7 tubes and 8 channels.
Madman Muntz would be proud that you could take 11, 12 tubes and just keep throwing out the tubes until you had to stop at 7, and you say, you know what, it still sounds doggone good. That is a good description of the meter. It's just kind of stuck in the center. It's like, wait a minute, what are we going to do with all this? Well, let's put the meter in there, like the battery, like those battery indicators, right? You put in the 9-volt battery and it goes up to the top. But this, I do believe it looks like it's an S meter, but let me do a close-up here. Oops. Where did that go? I don't know where that came on. Oh, I can't do a close-up on this one. I forgot. I can't zoom in on that. So it looks like the S meter goes to 10 or something. So maybe it's S units. I don't know. But it sounds good. Back to you.
Well, she goes a little higher than that, Dennis. This meter goes to 20. And you're doing all of that. Definitely pegging out the meter receiving you. The receive end on this one is pretty good too. And other than that, it's a complete little radio. Harvey did put the microphone in the front. Right below Radio Labs, he did install the microphone plug because this one was corded out of the back. And it's better off this way. I can move it around without stepping on the cord.
That's a good thing. Always nice when the radio is, you key down and the receive happens and the transmit happens and it looks cool. We were talking about driving the radio, so obviously part of the mystique is just having it in front of you. Being able to key down and not only having the sights and sounds, but the shall we say, olfactory of dust burning off the tubes, and if it's got illuminated things like the mod light or illuminated meter, just turning the lights down low and enjoying what is your old tube radio from World Radio Labs. That they actually made some Globe radios as well. So this is a very rare item for WRL, but. Glad that we have it here. Always great to have some of these very rare radios right here to not only listen to on the air, but share with everybody else in the Old Tube Radio Network. Joe, take another transmission on the 00 special, at least for another couple weeks, and thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thank you much, Dennis, and the pleasure is definitely on this end. The radio is a great part of what I'm doing here, and makes it now more pleasurable working with something that's a little related to me in a way. Okay, Dennis, I appreciate it. You let me check this one in, and the old blinky eye kind of does its own thing. Thanks, Dennis.
And thanks. And I see beaconing from afar out there in Wild Wildomar, SWL 78 has made it into the radio room. And there was a question, does it have a spot to plug in another crystal? Let me go back. Let me go back to the video of that. And I should know. And the answer is yes. Let me go. But there is up there on the left side between the squelch and the channel selector, and it appears there's a switch. There's a spot switch, crystal and tune. So that's interesting. Crystal and tune. If you're on the tune, my guess is you're going to the variable tuning. So it's not. It appears to be a receive switch rather than a transmit switch. Your transmits are inside. You hit that tune. You hit the crystal button, and your external one says, "Okay, I will lock you to another one." I could be wrong about that, but just from the way it looks, that's what happens. All right.
Thanks, Dennis, for that bit of information.
So, yeah, it saves you from having to tune something in. Or another way you could switch channels. You could leave your tuner on channel 11, for the old tube radio network. Or no, you could leave your tuner, your SWLing around the band. So that's what you're doing. You're SWLing on the tuner. And then it's time for the old tube radio network, and you flip that up to crystal, and it takes you right to channel 11. And then you make sure you're on the right transmit channel, and you're good to go. I kind of like that. All right. The old tube radio network. Oh, we'll be counting and mounting soon. Last calls for radios. I'm going to try and sign out of here before that horrible static comes in and messes everything up. But anyway, we're looking for Radio 8, counting and mounting the old tube radio network.
And I'll do one. Oh, for God's sakes. I was trying to check in at 9:59. Oh, goodness sakes. The Porsche 959. What a great car that was. I think I keyed up at 10 o'clock. How about Robin from the Radio Lounge?
From the Radio Lounge, sounding good. Thanks for stepping back in before it gets too late. This is Fresno fair weather, where it's a little too warm during the day, and the sun goes down, and it gets kind of nice, and then it starts getting chilly. From Robin, and the model number again, over.
My Robin T123, and nothing else after that.
Okay, and as soon as I asked you, I knew just from the sound that this is the Robin that requires you to not have to raise your voice in any form, way, shape, or form. Over.
Yes, and at this late hour of night, I try and use this one so I don't wake up the rest of the house. And it's probably due to the amplified D104 mic I'm using right now, with the maybe questionable customized back head to this astatic mic. It's got an M for my first name, but it suspiciously looks like an upside down W, but it still looks pretty cool.
It looks cool because it is cool. You're on the upside down W frequency, trying to center the picture up here. Everybody's saying, stop. You're getting seasick. Stop moving the picture around. Radio 8, just nice audio. It has that tube radio sound. Plus, here's another driver radio, another cool radio to sit in front of, just even if it's not on. But you turn the thing on, and you've got the magic iTube doing its thing. Plus, if you wanted to, and I can't remember if this is one of the radios that you have done, so you can run it mobile. Over.
Yeah, you can definitely run it mobile, and it's funny you should ask. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that. didn't work out tonight, and actually at one point in time I was going to try and go use it out on the radio patio, which didn't work out quite as well. But we're in the radio lounge right now, and I do have to ask a question. On the front of this radio, I don't know how many do. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think my Browning might have one on the back. On the front of this radio, the 123, there's a headphone jack, and I'm just so curious. I've absolutely never, ever used this thing, nor have I ever spent time listening to 11 meters with headphones on. I'm just kind of curious how many folks back in the day actually did use headphones. I mean, what did you do? You had this on your bedside table, and you didn't want to wake your wife up, so you used your headphones just to listen? I don't know.
Well, I'll speak to that. You might have been like a high school kid, and you're staying up late Friday nights. I mean, way late, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, because you are fascinated with CB radio. And you're in your room of your small mid-century modern house, and, your parents' bedroom is not too far away. So, like you said, trying to keep your voice down, but having that headphonium jack is a good thing. Also, I don't know if it does CB or PA. It may be a way where you would use that as the, it's probably got an external speaker jack too, but you could use that as another audio output for something. Over.
Okay. Well, at some point in time, I'll do it. I do have a couple pairs of headphones around here, although nothing's vintage, so I've always been curious to try and plug in some vintage headphones, which I don't have. Without getting out of the air chair here, I think there is an external speaker or a PA connection on the back that you can hardwire in there. I never have, and again, it's funny you kind of mentioned using this, in the mobile configuration. I've always wanted to, use this in a car and actually hook that PA speaker up. I think that's just the coolest thing ever. I think years and years ago, we've kind of joked about the old Mr. Microphone, type of thing that used to be advertised so you could, communicate with your friends in the other car. I don't know if you want to comment on that. But no, I've never gotten around to using this as a PA, but I promise before I die, I'm going to do that. Super cool feature.
Yes, indeed. A couple of comments from the SWLs that the headphones has the wife approval factor, or in my case back so long ago, the parental approval factor, although you'd always make some other mistake and you'd get that, knock on the door and say, what are you doing in there? Okay, and what else? The other one, someone said that CBers in this area back in the 70s were typically overmodulated, so it made it wearing the headphones a little bit uncomfortable. If you were listening today on 11 meter radio and listening to all this skip, I would definitely agree with the overmodulated thing. All right, did I answer the question? I may have not. I was counting and amounting here, but you are radio number 8, and you are sounding good. Before we're just about ready to get into our noise zone. Over.
37. Okay, nope, that's it. And thanks for letting me check it in. It's amazing. I hope I'm not jinxing myself. But everyone always sounds great on this radio, unless I'm mistaken. I don't think it's ever failed me. And you sound great. Chris sounds great, as does everyone. So on that segue, I'll hand it back to you so you can check that extra radio in. So thanks, sir, and 73 to all.
All right, extra radios are a good thing for sure. Someone noted you had a bit of an AC hum. I think that was some tube oscillation going on. Occasionally that will happen in some radios, and your last transmission did not have that. So, things move around and whatever, but back to the mellifluous sounding radio that it is. Radio 9, the Robin T123. Let's see. Let's go to... I do believe I heard Chris. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I do have two things to check in, so I'm going to check this one in first, if that's all right with you.
All right, let's do that. The radio, it'll be radio number 9. Go ahead.
Okay, we got the G Powermate by Gem Marine Products, 23-channel tubers that glows in the dark. This is that pretty blue one, and we are running this here with the amplified D104 Lollipop, and I hope it's not over-modulated tonight. Over?
No, it's perfect. We have a bevy of blue radios. You are number 2 in the Radio 9 spot, and I think the audio is perfect. Over.
Good. That's what I needed to know for the other night. Remember, I guess I was getting it like that and I was overdoing it, but, I got it down here where it should be. I'm not talking as loud either.
No, that was perfect, because as soon as you went up there, it went into a slight flat topping, so the radio is appreciating what you're doing. Over.
Okay. Well, I've got one more after this, if you can hang on for 1 second while I flip the switch.
That is my job as net controller, is to hang on, Sloopy. So we're standing by and counting and amounting. Yeah, go ahead, 37.
Carter, former U.S. president, just turned 98 today. I think that makes him the oldest ever former United States president.
Then he's going to run again. Okay, Dennis, here we go.
Okay, and my noise just came up, so hopefully I'll hear everybody. And what was that about turning 98?
Carter.
What?
It's right there. I want to break it down. It's Carter. Just turned 89 or 98, something like that.
Okay, I'm having trouble hearing everything, so, all right, so I think you said, okay, I got it now. Jimmy Carter, got it. Okay, Chris, take a transmission over.
Okay, if you can't hear, you know what? Hang on a second. All right, can you hear me now, Dennis?
I can hear you now. The audio is a little bit more intense. Over.
Yeah, well, I turned the switch on and help is out here a little bit. But anyway, Dennis, I would like to check in my Chris 23 Plus CB transceiver. This is the all stock with the stock original microphone with it too. Over.
Okay, now there's the radio that needs that amplified microphone. Let me go to the Chris 23 Plus. I'm looking to see. Oh, yes, I do. And that is one of the Panasonic chassis. Yeah, that should be. I bet that radio's been adjusted for it turned way down inside because it had a amplified mic on it or something.
Well, I'm not running amplified. I amplify, but it wasn't a microphone.
Yeah, you raise your carrier, but I'm thinking that radio's got an internal adjustment. You'll probably see the mod lights not blinking too much, but it definitely sounds good. Over.
Well, you're right. I have to get right into it now. Right there. All right. Now, right there, I can make it blink. It's doing some blinking. If I get it way down here, it's not blinking. But I get it back up here and it's blinking. Over.
Yeah, it's winking, blinking, and a nod from the old tube radio network for Radio 10, the KRIS from CHRIS. It's the 23 Plus on a Panasonic number 2 chassis.
Absolutely. And I do thank you, Dennis. I'll go ahead and let you get going so you can do your counting and amounting on numbers and radios and numbers and pages and pages.
Yeah, and just like clockwork, my 1008 noise is coming. I think somebody's got a light turning on because I can just hear it ramp up. It's not like it just comes right in. It sort of slowly moves in. Let me go to the jingle singers because they are ready to go. They want to get some of the great food that's happening up here, around here at the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
Now that is the oxymoron of all jingles there. Let's get to the Old Tube Radio Network and be modern. But we could do that. I mean, these were modern. These were top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art stuff back in the days when there was no solid state, but just state-of-the-art tubes. I want to say hello up in the balcony joining us. Is the sun coming up yet? In Nelson, yes, indeed, where it's 48 degrees and partly cloudy. Where Briarcliff and Briarfield and Barrowford and all the stations out there listening in. I think I heard some of the East Coast stations say that they're chatting with you guys out there on some of the bands, so it's good to know. 48 degrees. We're going to have some 48-degree weather at night coming up probably in, 3 or 4 weeks. So I guess I would say I might be working to that. Hello to Germantown, Wisconsin. San Francisco's still with us. Centerville, Virginia, as always. And Bowling Green, Kentucky, right up here in the front row. Anybody else before we sign out for the Old Tube Radio Network? Okay, look at that. Good old S6 of noise. I wonder if it's a vertical, horizontal, polarized thing. So, it is time for the fanfare, the horns.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
And I was wondering if our final couple of check-ins would change who was the most heard manufacturer. They took the number one spot right off the opening, and no one caught them. The tram radios tonight. Most heard manufacturer. SWLs, we had 73 checking in. Well, that's an apropos number for two-way radio. 16 on page 1, 18 on page 2, 17 on page 3, and 23 on page 4. So the radios tonight, the Tram TR-27E, that was radio number 1 from Mr. Ed, the 1962, 63, maybe into 1964. Then Tram reconfigured it a bit and came up with the Titan. Kept all the cool stuff from the 27E and made it better. The Tram Titan brought to us by Cliff for radio number 2. Then we went back to 1959, the Hallicrafters CB1. Thanks, Paul, for our oldest radio tonight, but one of the cooler, better-looking ones. Hallicrafters like E.F. Johnson and WRL, all making radios for amateur and then getting into that citizen thing. That unlicensed band, but you didn't, or it was not unlicensed, it was licensed, but you didn't have to go out and take a test. It wasn't meant for hobby communications. The E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. Joe, I don't know. You must have kept it, in the window and the sun shone down on that radio because it was a good performance tonight. It may get the Academy Award, radio number 4, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 2. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, our one Browning tonight from Mr. Ed. Thanks for that. The General Radio Telephone Super MC11 from Chris, who's going to be adding, what was it, a Craig? A Royce? Some other radio to his collection. Hey, bring that one by. Key it up next week. If you've got it or it's not going to the mobile or something else, plug that thing in and take a transmission on your vintage 23-channel radio. The World Radio Labs, Leo Meyerson and the Hustler on the Hustler for Radio 7, the Robin T123, Magic iTube and all. Thanks, Mike, for that. And then the ones you just heard, Chris on the Gem Marine Products G PowerMate, and the Chris 23 Plus gives us an even 10 radios on your Old Tube Radio network tonight. Thanks to all those who join us at oldtuberadio.net listening in, and those who put up with looking at me on the video and say hello, radio. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Hello, radio. And yes, Dennis, I will try to hook it up for next weekend. Over.
Okay, yeah, see that. I think that I really like the 23-channel radios because they're always cool, and they were putting little extra switches and trying to make it the radio du jour. So obviously, I think you're probably Probably familiar with that one. 73, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network is going to be over. What do they used to say? Over, off, and clear.
And thank you, Dennis. And good net as always. Much appreciated.
Thank you for that, Chris. Thank you, Dennis.
Hello, Joe.
Thanks, Dennis. Okay, 6 USY.
Oh, I'm down here. All right, that's why I'm down here.
All right, 73 KB6 GFA.
Anyway.
You're okay.
All right, let me...
Okay.
The video is still up. The video is still up. Let me see if... Oh. We got to turn that up.
But no, we had to lower the TV down.
I was curious to see if my noise is on some of the other frequencies here. And it's hard to say. I think it is. I think it's kind of broadbanded. Because I can hear static on 20 meters. Yeah, S3, S4. It's not as bad, because I'm not... My pre-selector is not tuned up for that. And of course, 40 meters is going to be noisy.
Zulu. November 4 Zulu, California.
There's some of the California QSO party on 7214.
CQ California. November 4 Zulu. November 4 Zulu.
Did I talk to that station?
California.
No, yes, I did. That was my last contact. He's in Tennessee. I caught him on 10 meters, 28.420. November 4 Zulu. At,
sorry, well, looking for California.
Oh, Zulu. So if I change my antennas over and put my 40 meter antenna, I think I can get give him another point on another frequency. I might do that.
Zulu, California.
Let's go to the S meter here. Pretty noisy.
CQ California. November 4 Zulu. November 4
This guy's been going all day.
California.
I want to make a contact. I want to see what number he's at. When he talked to me, he was at 446.
7 USA. Are you California? Okay, sorry. Was there a California calling California? November 4 Zulu.
Oh, you're making it to California, no problem. So maybe 40 meters is...
KJ7 USA, California. Thank you. Nice call. You're 699, Tennessee. Tango, November.
699. So he's made 253 contacts since I talked to him at 4 o'clock. And obviously he's down on 40 meters because the higher frequencies
Thanks, N4ZZ.
are gone. And the frequency, he's at 7214, 7.214. And putting a pretty bang up signal here. And that's on a wire dipole, just a very low dipole. And I have...
CQ California.
Yeah, it's getting stronger. I have a heavy noise that comes in on 40 meters.
November 4 Zulu, California.
There's some noise reduction. And of course, we won't hear the California stations.
Sierra Alpha, thank you. Number 700, Tennessee, Tango, November.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is the contest I actually like because you are the station they're hunting for. You don't have to do much. You just have to go and find guys like this and give them your county and make them happy. You don't have to do much. I always like this kind of contest. It's like people are looking for you. You're the star of the show on your QSO party stuff.
Whiskey 6 Echo 701, Tennessee.
So Tennessee booming in as he was earlier on 10 meters. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for listening in.
Thanks, N4ZZ.
And Captain Robert, always a treat to have you on. And as you know, all of us here at the Old Tube Radio Network are in your corner, pulling for you. So thanks for joining us. Always good to hear you. 73, everybody, the Old Tube Radio Network. And Pittsburgh Estate Sales can see the California station. Yeah, I've got to switch my antennas here. So if he's still there in about 5 or 10 minutes, I may see if I can get him on 40 meters. I don't think it'll be a dupe. I think it'll be another contact. He might even mention it. So cool stuff. All right, 73. And we'll see what happens on your Old Tube Radio Network.
Whiskey Bravo 6 Bravo Delta Delta 702 Tennessee Tango November. Alameda. Okay, KLAM. Thank you. Thanks, N4ZZ. CQ CQ California. November 4 Zulu, November 4 Zulu, California. That K6, hold on. Kilo Alpha 6 MM, I believe. Come back with your call again. Kilo Alpha 6 again. Okay, K6 Juliet Mike, and what was the number? Okay, number 4, Riverside County, got it. KA6JMM. Number 703, Tennessee, Tango November. Thanks, N4.
All right, now that's pretty cool. And Richard was saying, I hope he doesn't unkey the radio. I hope he doesn't turn off the stream.
Okay, who was the other 6?
Before I can dial it in. All right. Of course, we couldn't hear JMM, but he was beaking in at Texas. Pretty cool, Richard. So I'll see if I can do the same. I've got to go in and change some antennas around. But that was SWL 78 checking in. We couldn't hear the local California station, but we did hear Tennessee. Talking to Richard, cool stuff. All right, I had my end button right up there, and then I heard him say, "Wait a minute, I know that call," so I stood by. All right, very good.
Okay, K6 Echo Delta 705.
All right. Now we're gonna shut it down. And like I said, if he's still in about 10 minutes, I might give it a try. But of course, the band could change. 73, everybody. They still need pizza. Yeah, you know what? I'm going up to the balcony and see what's up, and I will have an armload of goodies on the way. All right, 73.
November 4 Zulu, California.